What's up, YouTube? So, as you can see, I'm coming to you today from inside my home. I'm sitting here on a much needed 34-hour reset. It's definitely been a long week. Now, the last time you guys see me, I was up in Alpena. And since then, I haven't made a video. So, let's talk about what I've been up to and what's going on right now. As I said before, I'm on a 34-hour reset. No, definitely much needed. Now, for all y'all that don't know what a 34-hour reset is, it is what us drivers use to reset our 70-hour clock. We have 70 hours in an 8-day period to use. I've used my 70 hours in 6 days this week. Now, as far as hours go, you get 8 hours of drive time before you have to take a 30-minute break. You have 11 hours drive time total in a day. And you have 14 hours a day that you can actually be on duty, which is doing other things other than driving, but which also includes driving, if that makes sense. So I figured I'd jump on here today since I haven't made a video since my Alpena trip on my 34 reset because I actually have time to make a video today. I've been really busy as far as driving goes. I used up my whole 70-hour clock pretty much except for 25 minutes this week. And before I repeat myself one more time, let me go into about why I haven't really made a video yet. So I finally got onto a actual dedicated route, which means I'm doing the same route every day now. I'm not bouncing from this city to that city to, wonder what I'm going to be doing the next day, which I didn't mind that. That was fun. Ooh, excuse me. But I'm enjoying this dedicated route. Now what it is I'm driving from Plymouth, Michigan down to Indianapolis 5 days a week. It's Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the trip takes about 12 and a half to 13 hours a day. And I'm driving down to two different Aunt Millie outlets, and I'm delivering bread, hand pushing them off by hand at each stop. So it's kind of time sensitive, and I really haven't had much time to. Well, I guess I've actually been trying to perfect my actual. Oh, what am I? Perfect my actual route before I go trying to fit in making videos, and I plan on it here soon. I'm gonna start getting back into making the videos. Just trying to figure out, like I said, where I'm gonna how I'm gonna make them and how I'm gonna make them interesting considering I'm doing the same route every day. It's the same route, same thing every day. I mean, yeah, extra stuff happens on the road, and like I said before, expect the unexpected. And I should have took my own advice with that this week. Now, and I'll tell you why here. This is totally much deserved. I'm sorry, but it really is for the week that for the fighting I had to do to make sure I made it back within my 70 hours this week. So I had my normal route, the route I was telling you about, the one going down to Indianapolis. Well, dispatch asked me Monday, well, can you work Tuesday? Not thinking about my clock. I'm like, sure, why not? So he's like, okay, I'll message you later with the details. He messages me later on, and I get to thinking about it. Now, the extra route he wanted me to do was two drop in hook loads, both going from Detroit to Coldwater. And that would have probably taken me about 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, depending on traffic and anything else that possibly could have happened. So I'm driving, and I think to myself, I'm like, if I do that route on cold, or do that, uh, cover that run for him on Tuesday, I'm not gonna have enough time to do my time on, or do my run on Friday. So I text him and let him know. I'm like, hey, I have, I've been doing, it's been taking me about 13 hours a day to do my Indianapolis route, and if I cover your run Tuesday, I'm not gonna be able to do the run on Friday. And he messages me back, and he's like, oh, you should have enough time to do all your you should have enough time to run all week long and then still make it for your 34-hour reset. And I'm like thinking to myself, this is just wonderful. I'm about to have problems with my dispatch already because him and I are on two different sets of math apparently. So I sent him a message back, explaining to him, like, hey, I'm doing 13 hours a day on my Indy route, because it's 4.5 hours there, and it takes me 5 in the truck, because I can't go over 64 miles an hour. The truck's governed at that speed, so I lose a minute every, I don't know, every 30 miles. I lose a minute on time or whatever. I know it takes me 5 hours there, 5 hours back, and of course, you gotta stop to go to the bathroom here and there. But um, I told him I'm thinking 13 hours a day to do this Indy run. And I'm like 5 days a week, 13 times 5 is 65 hours. I'm like, that cold water run's going to take about 10, 11. And I sent that message to him. And I didn't hear back from him until I was leaving my last stop in Indy. And, and, he's like, well, if I can get one of them covered, he's like, do you think you can do at least one of them? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm like, because it takes 4 hours to go to cold water and back, and I had 5 hours to spare. Well, expect the unexpected. And that lifted on the rest of the week. So after agreeing to do that one run for him, that one drop and hook run for him on Tuesday, both my trailers I got, the one going to the place out in Detroit and the one picking up from Detroit to go off Coldwater, both of them had one hell of a time trying to crank up the landing gear. The landing gear was just hard to crank it up. And then, of course, once I got that trailer to Coldwater, I had trouble cranking it down. It was just sticking. The Aunt Millie's really just doesn't take care of the landing gear on the trailers. They're they're hard from time to time to lift up, put down, whatever. So I had to get back with a 39 hours left on my clock to actually finish out the week. And I didn't. I had 38 hours left on my clock once I got back from Coldwater. So I'm like, if I can do 2 days, 12 and a half hours, I can still possibly make this. Well, day number one, Wednesday. I leave on time. Everything's running smoothly. I make a bathroom stop, and usually I just pull right up to the pumps, pull right through the pumps, and park. Well, I pull up to the Love's truck stop there in Woodburn, Indiana, and every fuel island's packed. At least 3 trucks at each fuel island. I'm like, wonderful. So I end up having to park in the back of the parking lot and walk all the way to the front, use the bathroom, come back out, get back in the truck. Like, okay, I only lost about 15 minutes here doing this. Got back out on the road. I'm running. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to stop anymore until I get down to my first stop in Indianapolis. Come up on the 69 465 interchange, and traffic is just backed up for about 5 miles. And I sat there for about 30 minutes. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I get to the Brookville stop finally. I'm already pissed off because no matter what I do, it's just not turning out profitable for me to regain hours. I get everything unloaded and I'm reloading the empty baskets back into my truck and I'm just throwing them in there like I normally do. Well, I don't know what this basket hit in the floor. They're big stacks of baskets on dollies, so I don't know what the dolly hit in the floor, but it hit something and the basket's just all tipped forward. I'm like, nothing can go right for me today. So I I get them all picked back up, get done with that stop, get over to Georgetown, get in there, and it's a disaster area. I have to clean up the whole dock floor just so I can unload my bread that I brought there. And so I get that stop done, get back. Somehow I still managed to do it in 12 and a half hours. And, or no, yeah, it was 12 and a half hours I got it done in. 12 and a half, 12 hours or 45 minutes, whatever. So the next day, I get there, I leave with the same intentions. And I get going, and I get probably 45 minutes down the road. I'm on southbound 23, and traffic comes to a dead stop again. I'm there for about 20 minutes this time. And all because there was a truck fire on the southbound or the northbound side of the road. I'm heading south. They had northbound completely closed off, and they had one lane closed down on the southbound side so they could start turning traffic around. So after sitting there for about 20 minutes, I finally get going, and actually everything ran smoothly from there on out. I made it down there and still about the same time as I normally do when I got back. Well, long story short, Friday rolls along, and everything pretty much ran smooth. I got caught in a little bit of traffic, but I made it back, and I had 25 minutes left on my 70-hour clock for the week. Oh, wait, no. I forgot. Let me backtrack there for a minute. So, everything's running smoothly. I get done with my first stop. I'm ahead of schedule. I'm 20 minutes ahead of schedule. I pull the truck out. The damn door on the trailer fights me. Won't close at all. I'm getting pissed. I mean, I'm seriously getting mad. I'm beating on the door with a piece of wood trying to get it to close, trying to get the handle to close. So, and then I moved the trailer a couple times because I thought maybe it was just sitting on uneven ground. Move it 2, 3 times and I still can't get it to close. Like, what am I going to do? I fight with it for about 25 minutes before I finally got it rigged closed with my padlock that I had in my backpack. I get to the Georgetown location. Well, I called dispatch. I'm like, hey, I can't get this trailer door to close. Is there anyone down here and come over take a look at it? Dispatch tells me, oh, just get it on flat ground. And he's like, the Brookville parking lot is hard to get it flat ground because it's so bumpy and everything. And so sure as shit, I get to Georgetown, get unloaded, got it done 30 minutes. Get out to the truck sitting on flat ground, door closed, no problem. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I felt stupid then because I got all pissed off for nothing. And so I got home, 25 minutes left on my clock. And I stopped and grabbed me a celebratory cup of coffee as I'm driving home. Well, when I got my fuel. Once again, there in Woodburn, Indiana, at the old Love's Truck Stop. So that was interesting. But yep, that's about what I've been up to since the Alpina video. I've been running back and forth to Indianapolis every day. I haven't got no road footage. I mean, there's been a couple things I definitely could have got. That would have been interesting. There's some cool trucks out there at night with all the lights. It was my first time down there for the Indianapolis run. I'm on 469. And this car's sitting on the side of the road, four ways on. As I'm coming up on it, this kid gets out the back. Not kid, probably about 19, 20, maybe 21, I don't know. He's a teenager, whatever. I'm coming up and I see him get out the car. And he just walks over to the side of the road, starts peeing. I get over, and go around, get back into my lane, and I look in my rear view mirror. Indiana State Trooper straight up rolled on him. I'm like, oh, you're in some trouble now, there, boy. And then night before last, Thursday, I'm unloading at the Georgetown location. This guy comes in and he's asking me all sorts of questions, like he's never done this job before. And he's like, I'm supposed to be picking up trailer with empty baskets. He's a Jamaican guy. And I'm like, well, it's probably that trailer right there. This is the only dock that's at this building. He's like, oh, you work here? I'm like, no, I'm just, oh, excuse me. I'm like, I work for Continental. I just deliver bread, just like you're doing. He's like, he opens the door. He's like, oh, this got bread in it. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm like, you're gonna have to call your dispatch. I hear him talking to dispatch. Talking to his dispatch, and I'm like, okay, let me walk over here for a minute. I look at, I'm like, this is your trailer, dude. I'm like, this is bread in the back. That's just stale bread. That's got to go back to wherever you're coming from. Um, your empty baskets are behind that. He's like, oh, okay, okay. I'm like, you're gonna have to strap that off, and you're gonna have to strap that off before you take off, though. He's like, oh yeah, I know. Walks out the door. I continue doing my thing, unloading. Next thing I see the trailer start pulling away. I'm like, okay, I guess he's not gonna strap that off. And no longer did he pull that trailer away, and about a quarter of the trailer poured out on the parking lot. I'm thinking to myself, wonderful. This guy's probably got me blocked in now with this truck because he stopped where all the stuff fell out. There was bread, empty bread baskets, dollies all over the parking lot. I mean, it was a mess. I really felt bad because I wanted to help stay and help that guy clean the parking lot up, but I couldn't, because I'm short on time. I got to get back. So yeah, that's been about the gist of everything I've been doing for the past week and a half since Alpino. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Plymouth to Indianapolis, Plymouth to Indianapolis. But I like the route. I have a feeling it's going to be profitable for me, and I'm perfecting it. I'm working on perfecting it so I can get back to putting videos out there. And I know this video's been kind of long, and I still got a couple more things to talk about. But yeah, here I am on my 34 reset. I should be able to. I should be able to start 34 hours from when I logged out last night. It's 2:30. So yeah, I'll be back 12:30 Sunday, and hopefully I can get an early start going on Sunday because I don't got to worry about that traffic down there in Indianapolis. Sundays roads are smooth sailing. So today I woke up and I had a hankering for some waffles. Had no waffle mix though. So your boy Trucker D made himself some homemade waffles. They actually turned out pretty good. I was pretty impressed with myself. Yeah, got a couple little things done around the house, and now once the wife gets home, we're probably gonna go out. Maybe take the dog for a walk if it warms up a little bit, and we're just I'm gonna give my wife some quality time because she's been on me about being gone. She doesn't like it, but she's a good girl. She's been sticking with me on it, and she hasn't been mad. She's been more playful, I guess, that you can so to speak. So everybody, y'all have a good weekend if you're watching this on the weekend. This is my Saturday. I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm gonna sit back, have a couple more of these. I'm gonna watch my couple more YouTube videos. Then I'm gonna work on a drone that my wife took from her little brother, and just sit back and chill and try to get some rest before I start back up again tomorrow. So welcome to my home. Don't mind the stuffed animals. My wife does live here too. But with that being said, I'm out, YouTube. See you next time.